Yeah, we're going.
All right, first take, I guess. So, hello there, everybody, and welcome
First
to
take.
Infinite
You
Nonsense.
think there's more than one take?
Listen, I am doing the intro.
I appreciate it.
So-
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, good job.
Last
I'm proud of you.
time. Oh God,
This feels very weird.
this is how this is gonna go. Last time, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what this is. I was dragged into this parallel universe where apparently we are talking about conspiracies across space and time, and I guess I won. So now I'm in charge here. So here's the thing:
He
we're
did it.
going
He fucking
to
did it.
do. I was honestly gonna torture you all with 20 questions and
Fuck
force you
no.
to think
Fuck
of the
you.
most
No.
No, do it,
abstract-
do it, do it, do it, do it, do
No,
it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
no. I hate
Do
every.
it, do it.
You've just gave me the excuse to not do it.
Thank
Okay.
You said
fucking
Rabbit
Christ.
did this already?
Yes, he did.
How
Heck
did that get
no!
connected?
They all.
I
fought
ain't
to
following
be
that
last
guy up.
place. They fought to be last place.
Oh, we made it hell. Actually, no. Go for
No,
it.
we didn't really
Do
fight.
it.
I had
No.
already confirmed first place by the time we started
No.
posting.
No,
He's asked
no.
Rabbit. Rabbit hated it. Rabbit absolutely hated it.
Rabbit loved it. It was a blast.
Oh, my fault.
I
He loved
mean,
it.
He does like to suffer.
You
that is
should
true.
do it though, Ark.
No,
Because
no,
you're
no. I've
probably
got an
going to do
even
it in a
better
much-
one.
I was gonna say you're gonna do it in a different way if you did it. Come on.
Oh, I absolutely would have. I would have made it like science words you haven't even thought that could exist. But I'm not going to put you through that. Instead, I'm going to do something in a classic Abyss style. We are going to make competing horror stories.
Fuck.
What?
Okay, well, first
So-
of all, can I just pull up the video from
You can't pull George's pilot video off the internet. No, that's not allowed.
I was gonna pull
Pilot
like
video.
2 weeks ago up. 2 weeks.
Oh,
Two episodes ago.
in
Oh.
that
These
case,
fuckers made
no.
a horrible horror story.
Oh,
It's not a horror story at all.
Oh, that one.
Kind of. Or
Yeah, we did
animated
already
one?
do story time too. This is funny.
The animated
we
one,
did?
right?
No,
Yeah, I
kinda,
told you,
not
Art.
Really, it's all-
Not
it's
we
all-
didn't do what you're
What
saying
the
at all.
fuck?
It was
Okay, I
fine.
was gonna
We-
say.
we were doing a whole bunch of drawings and making.
We were
Pictionary.
doing a story with drawing. Yeah,
It's Pictionary without
this
Oh.
motherfucker kept bringing up FNAF.
the fun.
Yeah, that's true. George did keep bringing up FNAF.
Afton showed up. Fred
The
Bear
only
showed up.
reason I was gonna make or
Oh
comment on
my
horror
God.
story.
It was awesome.
I would here's the general rules for how this is gonna go. I'm gonna go
Oh.
one by one,
No.
and you're going to give me your best r/no sleep horror story. I'm gonna
Alright.
judge you based upon creativity, how scary it is, how original it is. I'm looking at you, George. No FNAF, or I swear to God, I'm going to
Fuck.
make you the host.
Fuck. Okay, I mean, I'm okay with that.
I'm going to
see
make
no
you the
lose
first
here.
loser. I'm making you the first loser host in the history of the podcast.
Okay.
Nice.
By that, what I mean is, I'll get into exactly what that means. But after we get through this, I'll go ahead and sum up some of the points, and I will pick a host. And I swear to God, if one of you picks something that's so absurd that I have to pull out the ultimate loser winner, you're going to suffer.
Huh?
With that, let's go ahead and move on. Rabbit, you're the one standing next to me, so I guess you're gonna go first.
Oh boy.
Oh,
So,
boy.
this is the first I'm hearing about r/no sleep because I'm never on this place called Reddit. So
What?
Oh
Well-
my God.
I don't social media much outside of YouTube. Okay,
Bro still uses his newspaper every day. Like, what the fuck?
I work.
You,
at
I
it.
you
mean, who
use
doesn't-
the internet to search. How have
Who
you not
doesn't
seen
read a
Reddits?
paper newspaper?
Yes, that's what it's made of.
Well, I'm saying paper because there's the digital versions too.
Yeah,
you
I
jacking
read
that.
the digital
Yeah.
ones. I mean, come on.
Rabbit doesn't
Nah,
even
we
read
read
the
the
physical
paper.
papers.
Yeah, we get the physical is such a better way to put it. Thank you, Ark.
All right.
How are you not able to slap people if you don't have a physical copy? Come on now.
Yeah, like how do you beat
Exactly.
the spiders to death when they're climbing on your walls or your desk?
I use
How do you not
tablet.
accidentally send an inappropriate email to your boss because you slapped the spider on your keyboard?
See, that's when you just blame the cat. Okay, like that's a
yes.
skill issue, and you gotta find a reason.
Yeah, sorry, my little brother ran into the room, typed that up, and hit send when I was on the phone. You know?
Just work from home
Eh.
things.
True.
Oh no, that's in office. That's specifically in office excuse.
All right.
How did he get
Alright.
in? There's a badge.
There's like a 3-tier security system. How does he?
We have
How does he
TSA
know?
here. Oh man.
Oh my.
Oh god.
I have been.
All
I'm
right.
just
Anyway,
trying to
Rabbit.
find time for
Thank
Rabbit.
you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So- No sleep. I mean, it's just horror stories in general. All right.
Yes.
So
that's basically what it
um,
is.
one day, I was
Maybe next
walking
week?
down to the bus stop. It was a very peaceful day, calm, lightly fogged. I mean, it wasn't too big and deep. Not like the Silent Hill kind of days, but lighter than that. Like the early morning fogs. And everything was really nice. I got to talk with my friends at the bus stop as we waited for the bus. Nothing too eventful occurred. So the bus came. We all got on. We sat down at our seats, and you know the area in a school bus where the wheel is that you can just kind of put your feet onto
Oh,
the
yeah.
wheel, kind of like curled up in a way.
All right.
So that's the seat I chose. I noticed that my shoelaces were untied. So I did the most logical thing that I could do. I bent down to tie my shoes. As I was doing that, a white flash of light just blinded the whole area. I had no idea what was going on, so I sat up and I saw the top of the bus gone. Everyone else, like at the top of the seats, those were also missing as everyone was leaning backwards, their heads facing the sky. And I was freaking out. The world just erased the top of the bus and everyone's knocked backwards. And then they all slowly got up and turned their heads to me. No faces. None whatsoever. As they started crawling after me, I hopped out of the top of the bus, since the top was missing, and started running back home as they spider crawled after me, screeching with no mouths. It was the freakiest thing. And then I tripped. And that was it. That's when I woke up. So, that was fun.
And it was all a
And
dream.
it was all a dream.
And
True-
that's
true
no
dream.
theory.
True dream, by the way.
I have several questions.
Yeah,
So now here I'm gonna counter-examine this. All right.
perfect.
Yeah. So the entire top of the bus was missing, but everyone's like bodies were still there. It was just
Yeah,
the
that
faces
was-
removed.
Strange.
You're telling me it was strange.
You didn't
But
even
yeah.
give us
Second
any
off-
context of like they were regrowing as you sat back up. Nothing. No, they were just there. It was fun.
Regrowing? What do you mean regrowing?
Yeah, no.
Like-
If the whole top of the bus is sheared off, why not them too?
'Cause
Yeah.
they were knocked backwards.
But what?
If it had the
It
force to
went
shear off
through
the
them?
top of the bus, it sheared them off too, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just sheared off their faces. That's all.
Okay, they were all just
Second
leaning
question.
back slightly.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's
Okay.
another part of this. So you're telling me you were just conveniently next to your house, close enough to run to it?
I told you. I walked to the bus stop. The bus stop is near my house.
Oh, now I'm school bus.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about like a city bus.
You know, it's funny because
No.
my brain said school bus from the get go, even though city bus would have made more sense given how old we are.
Oh,
No, city buses don't have
Oh.
that lump, the wheel spot in the middle of the bus.
some do.
I've never seen a city bus where you.
Usually
can
they're
actually
hidden
sit down.
underneath the disabled seat or like the handicap seating.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
turned
yeah.
sideways to be on top of the wheel. Well, and then the back is raised anyway a little bit to
Yeah,
cover up the second one.
yeah. The school buses, on the other hand, they don't hide that shit.
Yeah, no, you lose that seat.
They don't
if
have
you're
enough
sitting
money for
there.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that was always the best spot
Okay.
for me to sit.
I
loved
loved that seat.
sitting on
I
that seat.
loved that seat, Rabbit. That seat was great.
I know, right?
Like everybody was all like, "We want the half seat at the back." No, I'm like, I want the fucking wheel seat.
Yeah.
I agree purely because I was also the kid that fell asleep on the school bus, resting his
Same,
head
brother.
against the window.
Mm-hmm.
Same,
Like,
brother.
The vibrations
Yes.
actually lulled me to sleep, and putting my feet on the wheel got me into that like fetal position.
Hmm?
I was just like perfect for falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Ark,
So true.
you get it, and I appreciate
I
it
do.
so much.
I have another question though about your story.
Uh-huh.
Their faces were gone.
Yeah.
Was it a hole or was it like
Slender
Slender
Man.
Man?
Slenderman.
How did they scream?
That's what I said was freaky. I don't understand.
I have no mouth, but I must scream.
It's the same way Black Bolt screamed in the Marvel movie.
Literally, who?
Who?
Okay, all right. You don't be dissing
I'm
my
also
boy
just-
Black Bolt like that.
Yeah,
Underrated
you
hero.
remember from the
man.
Multiverse of Madness, right?
Or from the infamous limited series, The Inhumans.
Yeah, yeah. No,
That
no.
was
I mean
really bad.
specifically the scene that I'm talking about, where they
I've
removed
never
his
watched
mouth
it
and he was
either.
like,
I've never watched
Oh
that.
yeah, where he blew out his brain. Yeah,
yeah.
which canonically would never happen because Black Bolt isn't that that weak. But that's another discussion.
Yeah, they just wanted a convenient.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's happening?
And
Pissed
I
me
was
off
gonna
as
say,
an
and with
avid lover of Black Bolt, but it is what it is.
Anyway,
oh,
what's up, bro?
anyway, I'll say you've got some amount of points for the story. Definitely wasn't bad. You definitely lost points for it was all a dream ending. You know, the dream ending is never a great ending. So
I know. I was just
keep-
telling a true story, so you know.
fair enough. You get bonus points for an actual event. Based on true events. Always the best kind of horror stories. With that, Soom, you're next in line.
Thank God.
Wait, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Horror story.
Horror start.
All right, I'm starting a chant. All right, hold on.
Sorry, I had a moment there where
Zoom,
Ark
here's the
just
thing, it's your
vanished from
turn.
the screen, and life was perfect. It was beautiful. It was great. Ark was gone. There were no problems. Anyway, to give you guys some context here, I'm going to tell you about a beautiful story, wonderful day. It was just, run-of-the-mill day. I'm getting out of class in college, But to give you a picture of what the place looks like, there's the big building that's, where every class is, because this isn't a multi-building campus. No, everything one big building. Now, down the hill from that building, where we would walk every day, were the 3 dormitories. Liberty, Freedom, and I think Peace was the last one. I can't really tell you. But anyway, I lived in Liberty. My friend lived in Freedom. It was a great time. Always got to see each other. Now, as I'm saying bye to some of my other friends who, don't live on campus, it's fun, he's fine, they drive away, I start walking down with my friend Nick. We're just going, we're having a nice time talking about class, talking about things we're learning, what we're doing, how we're going to handle the next assignment. And, well, here's the thing. I get that, I start to feel a little bit icked out, man. I hate using that term, but, it is what it is anymore. I get this weird feeling in my heart, like something's wrong here. Something just
Spidey
ain't
sense.
right. What? Yeah, exactly. Spidey sense. Just something feeling not right. So I start picking up the pace a little bit. I start not running down the hill, but speed walking down the hill. Nick's following along because he's not really he just kind of follows along. That's the kind of guy he is. So anyway, I finally make it to my dormitory, the dormitory building. I swipe my card, get inside, head upstairs, realize I have the key to the apartment, like the actual dorm, but I don't have the key to my room. So I step inside, I get out a pickle from the fridge, I call up the RA and I'm like, hey, I'm locked out, you think you could, come help me out? And as I get there, as he comes up, I'm watching out the window and I see one of my classmates who was supposed to have driven away, kind of just walking between the 3 buildings. And I'm kind of like, well, that's a little bit weird. Maybe he's just visiting a friend, he doesn't know which dorm he's in, do his thing. So the RA gets back up here. He's like, hey, so how'd this happen? It's like, I left my wallet in my room. Wallet has the key in it. I don't know why this door's locked. We never lock it. Me and my roommate, great people. Great person, not people. His mom threw away my soap once. Kind of weird. But anyway, he does his thing. He unlocks it, lets me in. I grab my wallet, and I'm like, oh, crap, I should go visit Nick tonight. We should play some Dead or Alive, that old fighter game with all the cute girls and whatever, and then Isn't there a bear in it? I don't know.
Probably.
Anyway,
Something like that.
I was gonna say there's some weird animals in there that you can beat up to. It's fine. So anyway, I, I get my key. I send a text to Nick like, "Hey, you want to hang out tonight? You want to have some fun?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, but one of my roommates is having a party tonight, so if we don't want to hang out there, that's fine." So I mean, I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter. Who cares?" I head over anyway. We play some Dead or Alive. We play some Magic the Gathering, and as we're playing Magic, their friends are like, "Hey, let's drink on this dry campus. We're gonna have some fun drinking, having a party." And me and Nick are just kind of like, I don't think we should hang around this. And instead of making the decision to just, walk back to my dorm and just do stuff there, no, we make the decision we're going to walk 3 miles to Walmart at 10 at night on a highway. Now, here's the thing. Nick can drive. I don't know why we made this decision. I don't know why we did, but as we get out of the dorms, I start getting that feeling again. I'm like, what's going on here? Why are things not feeling right? And out of the corner of my eye, I see a little bit of movement slipping behind one of the buildings. I'm like, it's whatever. There's animals here. We're on the edge of some woods. I've seen deer all the time running around. It's kind of odd. It's actually kind of neat, though. I got to pet one once. It was sick, walking up to the school. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, so we start walking, not a car in sight. And then, oddly enough, kind of out of the blue, car comes careening down from the school parking lot up there. Just comes speeding down, screeches around the corner at the stoplight, ignores the light, and then just slams straight into Nick's back. I watch as my friend is creamed on a highway right off of school grounds. And unfortunately, in that car window, I have a brief sight of my classmate Patrick. Someone known to be really normal and well-loved. He just... right over him. And, that's kind of the whole thing, but I really gotta ask, can I go home now? I don't like the police station anymore. Anyway, there you go. Fuck you.
Until we get all the evidence needed. Now, not a bad story. I'm assuming the fact that you were A-okay at the end means that this was somewhat fictional, because considering if it's the Pat I know, then it's definitely, he's not in jail. So.
Oh, I mean, I didn't even think. I didn't.
All
even
these
think
people
about that.
are fictional characters.
Oh no, this is a story from when I was in college. Straight up.
Oh,
Yeah, there are multiple
shit.
people called Pat. Yeah.
Yeah, and Nick. No, to be clear, fictional story. I did, base it around actual, events and things like being stalked slightly by a guy named Patrick.
Yep. I feel like that is definitely one of those things. I'm adding a fictional point to your story.
I
plus
don't care.
one.
Anyway, I didn't know how to end that, so that's what you got. I'm sorry.
I was wondering, I was like, where are we going with this wild, wild ride? He's setting the ambience so well. I don't understand, though.
I will genuinely say I fucked up. I meant to mention a little bit more about my classmate, like wandering around the grounds, like while I was hanging out with my friends, like in the whole party thing. I did mean to mention that, like him knocking at the door at one point and us being like, yeah, no, there's already a lot of shit going on. Like we can't really. Yeah. I kind of cut out a little bit of the story, forgetting about it. So I will admit I fucked up there.
Honestly,
all
I
good.
love that.
I'm gonna give you an honesty point there, but I'm also gonna have to take away for the forgetful, forgetful negative one.
Forgetful.
So why even give a point if you're just gonna? Why?
Just to have the fun of giving points. I'm the host. If I want to give a point, I'm gonna give a point. If I want to take a point, I'm gonna take a point. That's how this works.
Don't care. Yeah, it's exactly how it works. I'm proud of you for leaning into the game show.
Plus one for me. Getting points is fun. Point. All right. Now with that.
Oh, can I make one real quick horror story? This one's specifically for George.
Oh, okay.
I
You know
hate
what?
this. I'm not
I will
recording.
allow it.
I'm not recording. That's it.
+1.
I'm just gonna have Zoom muted the entire podcast of this episode.
+1 again.
What?
All right. Here's the thing, George. It's your turn.
I just realized there's
do
no
you have
point
there?
even individually recording. I'm just gonna go off of Rabbit's primary one to use
That's
that.
why I said, why am I recording? It's what I mentioned earlier.
No, it's
Mm.
because we can individual. I can edit or
Individually
It
adjust
George,
the audio.
Don't worry.
yes, that too,
I've been
yeah.
recording myself on a green screen this entire time just for you.
Thank you. Yes.
True friend. True friend.
Let's go.
You can put me wherever you want.
Let's
I could be in
go.
the top right. I could be on the top left. I could be in
Ah.
outer space, and you have the control over that.
Any way you want him, that's the way you get him.
Exactly.
Any way you want it. No. All right. Can I go
Oh,
now,
dog
or is
pull, I
Sim gonna
miss
keep
you.
yapping?
Okay, what the hell is your problem here, George? What the hell is your problem? Why are you like, oh, he's just gonna ramble on and on and on, as if you don't fucking, you don't, just like, shut up sometimes. You should talk more, buddy. You should talk more.
Oh, yeah.
You done, Sim?
I mean, that's my point. There was that huge silence there.
Why
and yet you
is-
said nothing.
why-
And now you're
why
like,
is
"You done,
George-
Soup?" Shut. Maybe talk a little bit more, buddy. Maybe use your brain. Speak. Use words. The language you learned as a child.
Why
One of
does
them,
George
anyway.
sound like McCasserole from Overwatch? You done?
You done?
Well, if you are
All right.
done, George, it's your turn.
My horror story is having to deal with Somebunny. The end.
I feel like I already made that joke with you.
It's true.
You did.
That's just, that's
Reusing content -1.
All right. This is my real story. Okay. All right. This one I was told a while back. And again, I'm fuzzy with all the details, but this happened a couple years ago. This guy was he's with his family, and he had to move back to his family because he's under hard financial times. So his family lives in New York City. We all know those buildings, really old. And his family's home
Ah.
was built in the early 1900s, so it's pretty old, but it was remodeled recently, so it looks kind of modern. The way he described it, though, is when you walk in, you can still smell the fresh coat of white paint on the walls, but there's an underlying smell of mustiness that hits your nostrils, once you kind of hit the room. Anyway, they were having pizza that night for dinner, and as they're eating pizza, they hear the TV in the background talking about the news and stuff, about the current events at the time. And that's pretty much it. Then the guy goes back upstairs to his room where he's moving into. It's all empty. He opens up this dark closet. There's no light. But he puts his boxes there, then he stops. And then there it is. He hears something. A ringing. Ever so slight. The ringing kind of feels like it's in his head, but he kind of, try to psych himself out, but he can still hear it. And it was mildly uncomfortable because it was more of like a it was not a typical ringing. It wasn't like a tone that wavered between high and low tones. It was just a consistent ringing tone. Anyway, he kind of just shrugs it off, says whatever. It's just probably me driving all day. I drove a couple hours to get to see my family. I'm tired. Just chalks it up just being tired. And he gets his boxes, puts it in the closet. It's midnight now at this point, so he's like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Close the closet door, turn off the lights, and goes to sleep. Next morning, wakes up, but he starts thinking about the ringing as he's laying there in bed. He finally gets up, walks downstairs, sees his parents. Parents are having food, breakfast, everything on the table. He was running late though because he had to go to school. He was still in college at the time, and anyway, he gets to school, and since it's his first day at this new school, teachers, introduce, it's the first day, orientation, all that bullshit. Meets his teachers, meets his classmates. Day's pretty normal. Comes home, and then As he pulls up into the driveway, though, there it is again, the faint ringing tone from last night, one that he heard in the closet, his closet. He's like, "What the like? What is that noise?" And he turns the car off, goes inside, walks into the house. No one's home because his parents still at work, but the ringing starts getting louder as he's walking into the house, and he's like, he decides to just try to ignore it. But as he walked upstairs, it gets louder and louder to the point where he cannot ignore it. And then now every high pitch started piercing his ears. Every low tone gave him a feeling of discomfort. As he closed it on his room, the noise got louder. And once he was inside, he noticed this noise was coming from the closet. Trying to remember this next part. It's been a while. It's a good story. I'm missing a lot of details. I know that for a fact. I'm sorry. Anyway, okay, yeah, and then he goes through the closet because he's finally done with the noise, and then he tries to look around. He turns the light on. He tries looking at the floor, at the walls, at the little shelf at the top where he put his boxes and stuff. Moves the boxes out of the closet, and he's just like scratching his head. Where the heck is this tone coming from? This noise. And he notices something at the far left corner, farthest from him. There's a little crack on the wood flooring, and he's like, "Okay, well, let me just try to see if something's under there." So he pulls out his pocket knife that he has, and he tries to pry the floorboard off, the little crack there. And apparently, there's like a small, dark underspace underneath, like I guess an attic, or not an attic, but I guess like another room. But the thing is, he sees two LED lights, or what he thinks to be LED lights. It's like, what the heck? One's a color of I forgot the colors. One's a colored light, the other one's a normal light. So it's like a colored light coming from the bottom of the floorboard. But he's able to reach and actually grab the two LED lights, and he managed to get them, and then he pulls them out. They're connected to something, but he keeps pulling and pulling, and then he somehow disconnects them, and then the ringing stops, and the lights go out. But then he noticed something coming out of the hole of what they were connected to, and looked like this little circle wooden. No, I guess it's a wooden. Yeah, I think it was wooden. A wooden flat. What's it called? I keep saying the word.
Token.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, a token. Thank you, Work. It's like a little wooden token that had like
So invested.
yeah, that had like these weird insignias. It's like someone had carved something into this little token, and it had messages and inscriptions on it that just it was unrecognizable. And as he sat there, he's looking at it, and then he realized that there's an indent on the token. So for some reason, he reaches his hand deeper into the hole, and he feels something. At first, he jerks back because he thought it was something alive, but he waits for a second, but doesn't hear anything. He reaches back in, and he actually grabs what was there, and it's like this twine. Then he realizes that the token is actually an amulet, and the amulet was adorned on this twine, but he had pulled it off from the wiring from the LEDs from earlier. And he kind of just, he puts the twine back on the amulet, and now he has a full amulet there. He's like, what the heck is this? And then he kind of investigates a bit more of the little trinket, and then he's just like, why the heck were the LEDs there? What was that? What is this? He's asking all these questions. And he's thinking, like, maybe this is what's making the sound. Was the LED lights? Maybe it was touching the, token or whatever. But as he's sitting there looking at it, he hears a large boom from downstairs. And then he hears his mom call him. And he's just parents are letting him know that he's home. He left a wooden trinket on his desk or whatever, his nightstand, and went downstairs, helped them out with the groceries, and they went to dinner at some place or whatever. And he talked about it with his parents, and they didn't really seem to care. So he's like, okay. And they reassured him that it's probably just something from the people who lived before us. Maybe they left it there or what have you. So he's like, okay, I guess I won't really stress about it. And he even brought up the whole ringing noise to his parents, and their parents said that they've never heard anything about that. So he's like, okay, maybe it was just me freaking out, or maybe it was the LED lights. Anyway, they go back home. They live that evening. Starts playing video games. Normal day, normal thing that happens. He really didn't care about the wooden trinket on his nightstand. He kind of honestly almost forgot about it. The thing is, he kind of just chalked it up as a weird experience, and ended up playing games till about 1 or 2 in the morning. And when he started to go to bed, he sat on his bed. He kind of just caught a glimpse of the trinket again. It's just curiosity was peaking at that point. And he kind of forced himself to say, no, let's just drop it. And he goes and lays down and just drifts off to sleep. As he laid back, though, or not as he laid back, but as he was drifting off to sleep, he hears a loud banging noise. And then all of a sudden, his eyes, shot open. And he was like, what the heck? And then all of a sudden, a louder tone of the same, like, I guess, it's the same, the same tone from earlier that was very, very mild is now extremely loud. And now he's like panicking. He's like, what the heck is going on? And for some reason, all of a sudden, he felt this ouncing pain on his back. And he looked around and he's like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden, he sees his room covered in cracks. And then this fleshy, veinous thing pops out of all the cracks that were the same colors as the LEDs. And they were pulsing and throbbing. And every time they pulsed, brightness, like an LED light, would pop out. He's like freaking out. And he's like, I got to be dreaming. I got to be freaking dreaming. There's no way. So what he does is he goes back to his bed and he pulls himself under the sheets, pretty much does what every 5-year-old does, and tries to force himself to go back to sleep. And all of a sudden, the fleshy veinous is grab the blanket and pull the blankets off of him. And now he's just sitting there looking at his room being engulfed in all of these like tentacle looking things, these veinous things that are just pulsating with lights. It's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And he's just taken aback by everything. He's no longer scared. He's just in awe because I think he just kind of just accepted at this point, like, hey, I'm going to die, but what is going on? And as the room kind of just corners him into the bed, it's as though it's alive in itself, the room. And as it's closer and closer and closer and closing on him, he starts to hear the very slight tone again. The one that he heard at the very start when he first moved in. And then all of a sudden, he starts hearing this oddly sounded voice that sounds beautiful yet horrifying at the same time. It's really hard to explain. He realized that it was his own voice. But then it turned into this shrieking, deafening scream. And then as the scream started, the light of the LEDs the same color of the LEDs from the veinous tentacles or whatever, all shined very brightly. And once that happened, the light cleared. He was back in his own room. He was grabbing his chest, but then he realized he's awake now. He quickly grabbed the little trinket. He started looking at it, and he's like, what is going on? Like, this has to have done something. This has to be something that's causing all this. And he just couldn't go back to sleep. He looked at the clock. It was only 3 a.m. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to go back to sleep after experiencing something like that. It's just crazy. So he grabbed the medallion as soon as the sun rose, went downstairs. And he's like, Mom, Dad, we got to talk. And he explained to his parents what had happened. And then he finally showed his dad the trinket that he was talking about. And then when his dad laid eyes on it, he said, drop it right now. And he, obviously the guy freaked out. He's like, he drops it like his dad says. And his dad said, son, you need to get away from that right now. It's going to be fine, okay? And then the guy's like, I don't know what's going on. But then he looks to his left and the trinket's back in his hand. So he starts freaking out. He's like, what? He like freaks out. He's like, I thought I dropped it. And then his parents are reassuring him, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. You're going to be fine. And then as he noticed, though, the same Venus creature was encroaching behind his parents. And then right before anything had happened, it got deafening quiet. His mom looked him right in the eye and says, I love you, son. And then the Venus monster kills them, and then he wakes back up in his bed. And now his heart is racing even more. But this time, he's not in his room. He's just in his bed with the trinket in his hand, surrounded by darkness. And for some reason, there is water all around his bed. Next thing he knows, a loud gushing noise comes from far in front of him, and through the darkness breaks. The Venus monster appears. And then he couldn't hear what the monster was saying because apparently the monster was trying to communicate. But he could hear the disembodied voices of his parents talking at the same time in this very deafening yet soothing combination of voices, telling him that you must wear the amulet. If you want to save your family, you must wear the amulet. And this goes on for a minute. And as the guy's trying to, kind of build back up the confidence or even, gather himself, he yells back at the monster and says, have your fucking amulet. And he or whatever it is, and throws it at the monster. And the monster says, you don't have a choice. Put it on now. And then, he looks to his left. There's his nightstand and the trinket's still there. Him panicking, freaking out, finally puts it on. And then as he puts on the trinket, he wakes back up in his room. His mom walks in, or knocks on the door, and then walks in and says, honey, are you okay? And he bursts out crying because he said he had a nightmare. And he's like, Mom, I thought I lost you. And the dad walks in and says, son, are you okay? I heard you crying. He runs to his dad and says, I thought I lost you too. I'm so sorry. And they're like, what are you talking about? And he just says, never mind, forget it. I'm just happy that you guys are here. And as his parents kind of reassure him that he's fine, they leave. He goes to the bathroom and he looks in the mirror. And right on his chest, he notices something. There's a tattooed image of that same trinket, center of his chest. And as he looks at it, it starts burning. And then the demonic being comes out and says, where are we going? That's it.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Bonus point for scaring Rabbit IRL. Jeez.
Okay. I'm going to tell you.
The Venom story over here. Jesus Christmas.
An insect landed on me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's the demon. He's asking, where are we going?
Where are we going?
We are Venom.
Yeah,
We
when my
gotta
friend
work
told
on
me
that
the
one.
story, that's exactly what I was thinking of, but it was something that he came up with. But apparently, something like that actually happened to him. He moved back. The whole thing about him finding this really weird old thing was actually a Native American totem that he found, but it wasn't anything haunted. He donated it to the museum there in New York City. I think it's there still. You could actually look at it, but it's more of like a wooden coin, if anything. But it's actually it's historical, is all it is. But he decided to make up a story. That's one of his stories he told me a long time ago. I missed a lot of details. Because again, I don't remember all the Bane stories, but that's the gist of it.
Interesting. See, I will not lie, at some point along this, I was kind of going, holy crap. This is by far the longest story out of all three of them. It has the most amount of details that I could even, have potentially wished for. And I had an entire part 2 of this that I had prepared. But now I'm wondering if we have time for it. Holy
No, we do.
God.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
we got time.
We got 20.
Okay, all right. Well, then here's round number 2. George, you get to... Well, actually, no. How do I want to do this?
I'll start.
I think because it won't work if you start. I think Zoom has to start it.
Okay.
What the hell
Soon.
did I gotta start?
I want you to give me an r/no sleep story, just like round 1, with one caveat. You have to tell Rabbit's story as much as of it you can remember.
I didn't read that.
Oh God. Ark.
And you
Alright,
can
let's
improve it
fucking go
in
then,
any
baby.
way possible.
Let's fucking go then.
You can make it
Okay.
as funny as possible. You can make it as even more horrifying. If you can make it scarier than Rabbit did, you will get bonus points. If you can make it more absurd in any way, I will give you bonus points based upon my feelings.
Well, based on this,
And we're
information,
gonna go
I
down the
know
line.
Exactly what I'm doing.
I was like,
I know what I'm doing.
I can't do George first, because then if I do George to Rabbit, then Soom is gonna do Sooms. That doesn't work. I can't do that.
I mean,
That's exactly it.
So, Soom,
George,
I've written down as you guys were talking on a notepad everything's line by line what you were saying. So I will know how accurate you were to Rabbit's story. Now keep in mind, Rabbit's story is only 20 lines. You got the easy one. George's is 115.
yeah.
Yeah.
You have the guy
16,
that has the
116.
best memory around here. Yeah, he's the best.
Good luck.
so I
Ark.
was cruising down the street in my 6'4".
And my 6'4".
Oh my goodness, I knew this was gonna be great. All right, Zoom. Whenever you're ready, take it away.
I hate Ark. Just want to make that very clear.
You can change anything you want about it too. You just gotta do something along the same vein.
Okay,
same
so I
settings.
can't just say, I was walking down to the bus stop on a funky Friday morning before school. I got on the bus. I sat in one of them funky little seats with the wheels up there. I don't know. You know, the wheel wells up there. They was up in there. And, well, so we were driving down the road. I realized my shoe was untied. I bent down over. I started tying that thing up. A bright white light flashed across the air around me. I was like, oh, what's this whiteness around me? That's not normal. So I sat up in my seat, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, like, what's going on? What am I missing? And, well, as it turns out, all of my classmates, all of them boys and girls on that bus with me, they were, they were kind of bent back a little bit, like, all folded up how they shouldn't have been. And, well, I mean, I was kind of looking at them, and then they all suddenly sat upright, turned their heads toward me. The bus sheared clean off, the bright air and clean, fresh breeze flying across all of us, flowing through my luscious fucking hair. Nothing is so beautiful as that. But these guys, they all turned towards me, and none of them had faces. None of them, not a single one. It was baffling to me. And then they all let out this high-pitched screeching as if somebody hit a tuning fork right next to their goddamn ears. And then at the next bus stop, I bolted. I ran. I fled. But lo and behold, my shoe came untied again, and I tripped and fell, cracking my head against the concrete beneath me, waking up in my own bed.
Nice.
I'm
sorry. I'm typing at the same time because I'm trying to capture all of the nuances. Because you missed something. He didn't wait to the bus stop. He jumped out then and there. Like
Yeah,
he just
I genuinely wasn't sure. I genuinely was not sure on that, so I just said waited to the next bus stop. I figured, the bus driver's still fucking working.
But you did improve it. Like I love the fact that you brought back the untied shoes into the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like apparently Rabbit just cannot tie his shoes to save his life, literally.
Well, the fact that it's also
literally.
stopped at a separate bus stop that you're running from now instead of staying at the same one.
Well, it does. I mean, that goes back to the question: how are you close to your house? That's you're a little bit further away now. Also, you were just sitting there patiently while they all screamed at you. Until
the concept there could very well be bus driver was amongst them. It just kind of drifted to a stop as it was going.
I mean, wherever the bus stops is a bus stop, technically, I guess.
True.
And then it doesn't really matter how far away from home you are. If you're freaked out, you're panicked, you're gonna run. I didn't.
Yeah.
I did intentionally leave out run home. I said
Yeah.
run.
True. Didn't even run home.
Yep.
Also, I love the luscious hair. It's
I
truly,
don't know why that came from.
it's
anywhere.
factually inaccurate, but like honestly, improvement.
Sure, yeah.
He really
Fuck
is
you,
nice,
Rabbit.
fool. I get to say that I'm his brother. Anyway, what else did?
Spoiler
Oh yeah,
alert.
Friday morning. That one was a nice little addition, but you missed the not Silent Hill aesthetic. You didn't really set the tone the same way Rabbit did.
You're right. I did not set any like it's a J.
Yeah.
I just
I'm going to fail
Friday
this
morning.
miserably.
Oh wait, yeah.
Honestly,
you
the one
know.
who's gonna
Have
fail
some
is the one who has to
story.
deal with yours.
That's me.
Yes. Oh my God.
I'm so glad.
Oh,
I'm so
Rabbit's
glad.
I
like,
know.
"My story's getting absolutely fucked."
oh my God. Well, here's the good news. It's George's. No, it's
Yeah, it's George's turn.
Yeah,
because the
it's
order of
George's
the
turn.
stories.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it doesn't matter
Am I
whose
doing
turn it
Zooms?
is.
you're
Am I doing
doing Zooms. Yes.
Okay. Shit. I just remember the creaming on the highway.
Okay, maybe don't cream on the highway.
You're the one that said it. You're the one that said that. Sitting in the back of a police car, looking out, saying, "I don't want to be at the police station anymore." That's all. It's like, what the? Like my first thought was, what the fuck would you say it that way? Like what?
I watched my friend get creamed on the highway. That is a
What the
common statement for car
Out of
accidents.
context. That means something
Yeah, but
entirely different.
Context, though. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, out of context, which is what you did. Thank you.
It's something about no.
Something about
Afton and-
creaming on the highway. That it's kinda.
and Freddy Fazbear popping up, and
Oh God dang it! I warned you.
you know, and hey, I'm recounting what I remember from Zoom story. Okay, And I remember Chica and Bonnie showing up,
I mean,
twerking off. You know,
Okay, well, Bonnie's not involved in the twerk off. It's only Chica. Thank you.
okay, my fault. Chica involved. That's what caused the creaming on the highway, and then
All of George
Yep.
points are from Brown Water.
yeah, and then let's see. It's because the fucking
Yeah?
creaming shit caught me off guard. Oh, like who? Just say that he got switched or something. I don't know.
He got creamed on the highway. Like I don't. It is
It's
a
a
phrasing I am
common
used
turn of
to in
phrase.
terms of like accidents on cars and people.
Okay, all right. Here's what I have thus far for George's story: creaming on the highway, something Freddy Fazbear, Chica, and twerking off, creaming. Who says that? Is that about someone up, George?
That sums it up. Yeah.
All
Oh, don't forget Zoom saying that he doesn't want to be there anymore and ban that in the police car.
He did mention a police car and me looking out and not wanting to be at the police station anymore.
Yep.
Not
That is a
wanting to
valid
be
statement
there.
and a valid addition. as well.
Something
Exactly.
at the police station. Okay. Well,
'Cause he did
unfortunately,
add a
you
police
missed
car here.
you missed the part where Soom said that he had a wonderful nightmare of Ark being gone.
Oh,
You missed the beautiful story, wondrous day, big building, liberty, freedom, and peace, all of that, that
Yep.
ringing a bell. Friend named Nick, he getting the ick once, locked out of his room, getting the ick
Oh.
again,
And Pat. I forgot about Pat.
the pickle.
and then Pat running him over, with the potato car.
left
like-
out fucking pickle.
The pickle.
Oh my God.
The pickle was important to the story. It was integral.
Oh my God. I didn't even have the pickle.
You have the easiest time with the second round because
Oh yeah,
as soon
absolutely.
as,
I'm
I
so
heard
happy.
that you had my story, I knew where Ark was going with this, which means I, with my poor memory, have the longest story of the group to try and remember. And George, who
I'm gonna be-
doesn't really pay attention to every word you say, has to retell your story.
Yeah, that
Don't
was hard
worry, it
because
goes both ways
usually
because
tune 'em
all I got from George's was how many times can this kid wake up in one night?
I
Inception.
Yeah.
It's an Inception nightmare prison.
He comes home. He finds an amulet. He pulls some LEDs. He wakes up. He ends up in a horror story where there's lights and LEDs. He wakes
Isn't
up.
Rabbit
Yeah.
He
supposed
goes
to be doing this?
downstairs. and then-
Hold on,
It is
hold on.
very-
Isn't
it's very possible that I should be
Yes.
doing this before it's all.
No, but Ark's
rewinded
got a
to
point. I
me.
mean, you guys got a point. That freaking
It's true,
story,
it's true.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
can't wake
anyway,
up multiple
Rabbit.
times.
Now we got to get into it before we remind him too much. I mean, to be fair, I'm okay with that, with reminding him a little, only because I reminded him, if we take out just that part, he's still got basically the combination of
so
Zoom and Rabbit's story together to remember
Oh,
anyway.
He's got so much to remember.
I've got
So,
much
like,
to
that was
remember.
all Act 3 things, and there's still 2 other acts above it. So, let's go, Rabbit.
One morning,
God.
the guy ended up hearing his alarm clock going off, or so he thought, as dulcet tones were reverberating through the air. He turned off his alarm, but only to continue hearing the noises, high-pitched noise, a low noise, just constantly interchanging from each other. He got out of bed to investigate where the noise was coming from. Each area in his room ended up not really proving anything fruitful until he got near his closet. He started hearing it from there. He opened the door, and the noise stopped. And it was weird. There was nothing to indicate anything of a noise. So he went about his day, left for school, as he said goodbye to his parents, and went about his way. He was old enough to drive, apparently, if I remember that correctly. So he drove off, and after a day of school, he kept thinking about that noise and what it was all about, and it didn't make any sense to him. So as he was getting back home, he pulled up into the driveway and started hearing the noises again. This time, they started getting louder. So he went to investigate once more and went into his room and saw right in the closet a wire of sorts. As he looked around, he pulled the wire out of the socket and found a talisman, a wooden talisman on the floor. He investigated it only to find that there didn't seem to be anything weird, but the noises stopped after unplugging. So he put the chain that he found and back with the amulet and set it on his desk, not thinking too much about it afterwards. He went downstairs, spoke with his parents again as they had dinner, and everything was fairly normal for that day. He went back up to his bed and just went to sleep for the night. As he was asleep, he started hearing the noise again, very much like the originally. He thought it was like an alarm clock thing, and he looked around only to find the closet door open slowly as a tentacle starts rushing out and creeping out. He sees a fleshy monster crawling towards him. So he does the most logical thing anyone can do in that scenario and hides under his blanket, thinking that it's just a dream and it's just going to go away. Only to feel the fleshy tentacle crawl up his leg and up towards his body. Hearing the noise even louder as it was right on top of him. Only as he sees the creature getting just screaming in his face, and he wakes up. only to be in his bed, in his room. It was fine. So he grabs the amulet, walks downstairs to where his parents were, and ends up asking them about the noises this time. And they said that they'd never heard any noises. So he ended up showing the amulet to them, only for the dad to freak out and be like, "Where'd you get that? Drop that right now." So, listening to his parents, he threw it on the floor, only to notice that this is a very second later, it was back in his hand. And so he tried to throw it again, only to have it not be released from his hand. His dad freaking out at him, and his mom telling him, "It'll be okay, it'll be okay." As the fleshy creature crawls it into the room behind the parents, the mother says, "Don't worry, son, we love you." And then the creature snatches them, killing him on the spot, for him to wake up again. This time, his bed, sitting floating in the middle of the water. A small ripple effect can be heard, as that's the only sound in the entire area. A voice then suddenly chimes up from next to his bed, as from next to his head, as he has the amulet in his hand, saying, "We can help you. We can recover your parents. All you have to do is one thing. Wear the amulet." He refused, obviously. He did not trust this, and so he throws the amulet into the lake around him, only to find once again the amulet back in his hand. "You have no choice but to wear us." And at that moment, rippling sounds around the water started getting more violent, as more of the flesh creature, the tentacles just sprouting from the lake below, as it forces his hand to put on the amulet. He woke up once again, only to have screaming. He was back in his room. His parents came rushing through the door, hearing the screams, and asked if he was all right. He said yes, he's fine, and he ran over to them, hugging them, crying, saying, "I'm so glad you're alive. You're okay." And obviously concerned and touched, they hugged him back, and everything was going to be, told him everything was going to be all right. After they said their goodnights once more, he walked into the bathroom to wash his face, only to feel something on his chest. So he lifted up his shirt, looked in the mirror, and saw an image of the amulet tattooed right into his skin, as it flared up in a sort of flame effect and started talking, as the demon that was inside asked, "Where are we going to next?"
Rabbit forgot about the pizza.
Yeah, I did. I didn't remember anything.
Oh, there is so many things that as I was typing, I was trying not to laugh because it was so different.
Yes.
It was like
It was better, in
let's
my
see
opinion.
here. Honestly, he wakes up to an alarm clock, dulcet tones.
Yeah, that was
okay.
that was
It's words that I
Turns
thought
it
of.
off, still hears the noise, looks around, investigates, no luck anywhere but closet.
Fucking
Opens
closet.
door. It stops. What about his day? I'm reading back some of this. This is so fucking. Oh yeah, by the way, he's old enough to drive, if I remember that correctly.
I remember
If he
George
was
saying
driving
something about,
off.
if I remember that correctly, in his story too. So. Though I think that was more
There
about
was-
the amulet.
Oh yeah, you said amulet. Not once was it ever called an amulet. It was called a token the entire time.
Oh,
A token and then a
No, it-
talisman, wasn't it?
What was
Yeah.
it?
It was it was called two separate things.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it
it's
did
token.
switch
Oh,
around.
you know, you're
Amulet.
right. It was called an amulet. I
No,
have it
no,
in my
no.
notes.
No, at the end of
You-
it, because it became an amulet because he found the twine, but it was like a
Because he found the
trinket or,
twine.
Like,
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Which, by the
Wow.
way, your guy didn't have a crack on the floor. You didn't.
Nope.
You didn't like have any of the noises stop from you pulling the LED lights out. There was no real LED lights. You
There
just
was
like,
LED
oh, look, a wire. Boink.
I
Yoink.
remember the LED light.
Oh
There
my
were
God.
2 LED lights. It was a
Yeah.
crucial part because then when the cracks formed in the wall in the first stream, it was all the same LED lights.
I'm gonna
Yeah, with the
be legit
pulsating-
with you here. That's a lot to remember.
No,
Oh,
it is,
no,
it is.
yeah,
hearing
it
the
is. It
story.
is.
It is.
Oh my
Like all-
god.
The monster like veins were pulsating, and each time they pulsated, there were the LED lights inside, emanating from the pulsing vein. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and my favorite was my favorite was he went downstairs, he came back, then he went to bed immediately. No video games, nothing like that. But then he
No.
woke up and there was tentacle monster coming out of the like slowly creeping out of the closet.
Yeah.
Like he's just hiding in there, you know, permanently and slowly putting his tentacle up the blanket.
Well, it's
And
where
all
the
he does
noise
is-
originally came from. So I mean, obviously that's where it's gonna crawl out from. Obviously.
And
Obviously.
Shut
Oh
up.
my god. Oh my god. This is actually much closer than I want it to be. Like, much closer. And the reason
hate
is simple.
everything.
Rabbit had a horrible round 1, but my god, does that final round bring him back to something like resembling like a competition? George's round 1 was phenomenal. Just
Alright.
phenomenal. His round 2 was dog shit.
Yeah.
It was nothing but half of
Oh
it
my
was creaming and the other half was FNAF.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't wanna
According to
hear
Honor,
about
that goes
FNAF
that goes
and
hand in hand.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're at an hour and I have to decide a winner. Suma is the only logical one out of it. He had a not
What?
bad first one. Like he had his round 1 wasn't the strongest, but it was not bad. Like by any means. And then his second one, honestly, he improved Rabbit's story. He's the only one that without hands down you cannot say his was not better than Rabbit's.
No, his
Yeah,
was,
it had
his was
less-
decent. Yeah.
And it
His
wasn't
had
a dream.
less logical fallacies and added luscious hair. Yeah.
And
Do you
added
not
what?
remember
I'm
the
sorry, the
shearing
what?
of the
What?
entire bus?
Yeah, it sheared off the entire bus.
Get not the people.
Yeah.
I
No,
also
it's
do
not
want
like
to
the
note
top-
when it
it's
came to
called
mine.
Supernatural Flash. Dog.
I literally said everybody was
Uh.
knocked backwards. I never mentioned the bus being sheared off until after they started turning towards me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not mention that until then.
Yeah. Details. Okay.
Details
well.
that you say weren't stated.
Well. Man.
I mean, that's where the wind came
Ah.
from with the luscious hair, you know?
True. True.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. How did they have? Wait. There is a logical fallacy. Crap. If they.
I
if
didn't say
it
anything
wasn't
about
sheared
them having-
off.
I didn't say anything about them having luscious hair. I said
Also-
I had
No,
luscious
but
hair. And then I mentioned
Wasn't
the
it blowing
sheared
in the
off.
wind?
I said it with the sheared off. I didn't say sheared off. I did say something about the top of the bus being gone with
Yeah.
the beautiful sky,
Mm.
the breeze, the wonderful breeze flowing through my luscious hair. I did mention it being cut off, just not at the same point
Mm.
Rabbit did. I focused
Or the-
more on the classmates being knocked backwards than the bus.
And that's fair considering that it was all enhanced by a random southern accent that I don't think ever belonged there to begin with. But
Oh,
like,
no, the accent didn't at all. I don't know why that happened. I'm gonna be honest.
oh my god, George, why did you just have to bring up FNAF and just have a terrible round 2?
Why did you have
Ah!
to cream? Why did you have to cream?
Why'd you
Why would you bring the word cream to the whole thing? That's what I want to fucking know.
Because the guy got hit by a
All
truck,
right.
which means he got creamed. Duh.
It is
All
a
right.
common statement.
This is what I'm
Jesus
gonna do.
Christ.
This is the only fair way of having this. I know I just got this from George, but I'm going to give it to George because he did have the best horror
Fuck.
story.
No, here's the
But-
thing. Here's the thing. You
but-
need to give it.
Well,
that-
Yeah,
I know. I
Maybe
have a
give it to George
caveat. I have a
anyway.
caveat. I have a caveat because I said at the start of this entire
FNAF.
episode that if you bring up FNAF, I'm going to make you the winner, but I'm going to make you the first loser winner. Now, what does that entail? Simple. You are going to be a one-man show next time,
oh.
and you will have to do whatever story/improv scene that Zoom and Rabbit come up with.
Well, joke's on you. I ain't gonna be here next week, so
Good thing we're doing one more episode.
Tee-hee.
Hee hee.
Tee-hee.
It was all
And with
planned,
that-
George. It was all planned. This was
wrong.
the real
According to
conspiracy,
plan.
baby.
Conspiracy Part 2? Oh my god.
she has risen, baby girl.
Fuck! Oh my god. With that, and on that note, we're gonna call it here. That all of our links will be in the description down below. Thank you so much, George and Rabbit and Zoom, for having me on for this lovely episode. I don't know why I'm here, and I hope I can shift to the next parallel universe as quickly as possible. Thank you all so much for joining us on this grand adventure, and until next time, remember to stay safe and don't get lost in our infinite nonsense.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Rabbit actually said bye this time. Holy fuck.
I know.
Some, you
Oh
motherfucker.
my god!
Some. Say bye, you fuck. Say it, little shit. Say it.